So we had this worksheet yesterday that we used, on Thursday, beg your pardon, for text journey. Just to refer back to it. Okay, contact. Let's start with contact for today. Now, contact is basically used to join multiple very multiple values together, text and all. Now, in earlier days, earlier versions, concatenate was actually what was being used for this function, but now we have, I think it was updated to concat, right? So if we have a text, say happy, and then we have that in a cell, and then we have Sunday in another cell, and we want to join them together, we can use the concat, which is equal to, I'm sorry, concat. So for those using older versions, you do not see concat in your in your options, you would probably see concatenate, and you could use that. Yeah, so concat, and you could literally highlight the range you want, cell E2 and F2, and close the brackets, and you have it joined together. Happy Sunday. I think my screen is visible enough. So concatenate literally joins to words together. If you want to put spacing between them, if you want a space or something, you may want to like join them together but have a space. So in Excel formulas, if you remember what I said in the last class, I mentioned that if you want to put a text in, in fact, if you want to put anything that is not a number in a formula, if you want to put a a symbol or space or a text, you have to put it in between um, double quotes, right? And these double quotes are like the double quotes, not single quotes two times and single quotes two times. Um, Double quotes. So let me show you what I'm trying to say. So equal to contact, and from the function map, like I would call it, text. So I want to concat text one. I put a comma, and then I want a space before the Sunday. So the first text is happy, the second text is Sunday, right? So I want a space between the two of them. So concat it, so I put a double quote, and I put a space in between. That's pressing your space bar, and I put I close the quotes, double quotes again. I put a comma. The comma is the separator of the different parameters, right? And I click on Sunday and close the brackets. And I hit enter. And then there is Happy Sunday with space. I hope we are trying this hands-on. You have your computers in front of you. You're trying this out, right? So this is for Concact. Do we have questions? Have we been able to do it? I'd like to know, get feedback. If you had challenges with it, and I mean, do you get the gist now? As usual,
Yes.
I'll take silence as yes. You get the gist. Okay, that's good. So we move to text join. Yeah, and also if you have a question to ask and or if you do not get anything, feel free to use the raise a hand um, option.
I've not
Or
been able to do it. It's not working yet.
okay, Kenny, do you have Contact in your PC in your Excel? That's to Kendi, Sheung. Do you have the option Contact in your
Yes, I
Excel?
do. I have it on my system.
Okay, okay. So
Yes,
you
I have it. I have it
so
on the
so
system.
what
But it's
challenge
not
are you
working.
having? Can you read out what
It's
you
not working.
entered?
It's just bringing error.
Read out what you entered. Let
Okay.
me know. Yeah.
Equals concat equals concat open bracket then C1. That's my own in this thing.
See,
Then
okay.
comma. Then
Okay.
that that this thing that double quote.
Okay.
First one, then another one again, then comma,
Okay.
then D1. That's the Sunday. And I close the bracket, then press enter. But it's not working. It's not giving me the answer.
And it shows an error. Hmm.
Yes, just hash and name, the question mark. That's an error, right?
Sorry? It showed what?
Name, like hash name, then question mark.
Hmm. Okay. Just a quick one. Did you upgrade your Excel?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Did you upgrade your
Yes, to
Excel?
2016.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
Yes,
nice.
to 2016.
That's cool.
Doesn't accept 20. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fine. Um,
Thank you.
is any other person having a similar issue? Okay, Kenny, you know what? We'll have a one-on-one session where you would share your screen and we'll look into contact together, so we do not take time. Okay.
All right,
Um,
no problem. Thank you.
you're welcome. Okay, someone asked a question. Am I using 2016? Oh no, so I'm using Office 365. Yes, using Office 365 for this. So I'll just take it again anyway, just one more time, so that we can, because we have so much to do today. Um, okay, I think that's the reason why. Is it? Are you also having the error? Okay. Benga, are you also having the error? I'd like to know. So I'll
Yeah,
probably.
well done, sir.
Yes, hi. Yeah.
Hello, well done, sir.
Yes, I can hear you. Are you
Can you hear
having
me,
the
sir?
same issue
Yeah.
with
I think that's
with?
where, yeah, exactly. I think that's where the fault is coming from because from last week when I tried it also, I thought I was the one making error, but this today I actually put all my attention and patiently to do it. So trying the first formula, putting equal to and the concat bracket and everything, putting up the numbers together, the values. So it's first showing values. So when I
Okay.
tried the second formula by trying to put
This.
space, it now put the happy Sunday without what's it called, without space in the middle. So I don't know if it's because we're using 2016 or other people using 2016 are also experiencing the same thing
Oh,
or
okay.
not. I don't know because 2016 I'm using too. It's actually giving me value first for the first formula. Second formula now give me happy Sunday without space.
Okay. You know what? We're going to have a session immediately after this session. For those who have the issue with contact, you share your screen, I'll look at it, and then we'll just try to figure it out and come up with a conclusion. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
thank
sir.
you. Yes, Namdi Kimberly, your hands are up. Can we hear you?
Hello,
So I
good
want us,
evening.
yeah, good evening, sir.
Hello,
Also,
good
what,
evening.
talk to me.
It's just the Concord issue, 2016. I'm having
Same
error
issue?
on
Oh, okay.
2016 error and not applicable, something like that.
Have you tried to use concatenate?
No, it's Concord that I've been trying.
Okay, so perhaps guys, 2016, try to use concatenate. Let's see if it gives you the feedback. You could drop it in the chat just quickly. Yes, while we proceed. Okay, thanks for your feedback. Else, after this session, we'll just have a quick one, look into it, and see what we can do. Okay, so let's look at text join. Now, like I said, text join, I think, is, well, it's in later versions, right? Um, I don't think it's in 2016. Okay, so concatenate is not working. We'll look at it together afterwards. Thank you, Benga, for the feedback. Very important. So let's look at text join now together. Okay, I understand it wouldn't be in everybody's pieces. I'm not sure it's in 2016. Um, so text join, I would say, is a preferred alternative to concat, right? Even though, um, yeah, but concat still has its uses. Now, for text join, let me just equal text join, function text join. So you have three steps. So the first step is the delimiter. The second step is ignore ignore empties, ignore empty cells. And then the third step is your text value or range. That's what you want to join, the text you want to join together. Okay, so now the delimiter simply means what is going to be the separator, right? The delimiter is the separator. So let's say we're using a comma as a delimiter. Remember, I said when you're putting anything that is not a number in a function or a formula, you have to put them in quotes. So a delimiter is going to be comma, right? Now, ignore empty. Now, you could be working with a range of, you could be trying to join text in a range of cells where some of the cells do not have values. Now, what ignore empty is trying to ask you is, what ignore empty is trying to ask you is, do you want to um, count? Do you want to text join the empty cells along with others, or do you want to ignore the empty cells? Right. Um, so that's what. So there are two options here: either a true or a false. Right. Yes. So also something you would want to know that could come in helpful in using maybe fast hand or shorthand when it comes to formulas, right? True is equivalent to one, and false is equivalent to zero, right? So in place of true or false, you can use one, one for true, and then zero for false, right? Okay. Now for the value of text or text range and basically the text you want to join. I hope this is clear. Now let's try this out. Let's put this into practice. Please let me isolate this so that I'm not you don't mix it up. Uh, so we'll start with equal to, then we type our text, join when we see the text join, enter. Now the first thing is the delimiter. We want to use a comma. I start double quotes, I put a comma inside, double quotes, that closes it. Then, of course, the separator of different steps is a comma. I use a comma. Then you see options. Ignore empty, true. Ignore empty, false. Ignore empty. So I'm going to use true because I want empty to be ignored. And perhaps in the next step we'll try it out with 0. Okay, so I put a comma afterwards, and then the next step is select the range of text. The range is happy Sunday, right? And I close my brackets. Enter. So you see happy, comma, Sunday. Let's say I wanted to put a space after the comma, right? In the quotes. Inside the quotes, where I put my comma, I can put a space outside the comma, still within the double quotes. And click on enter, and then you can now see it's separated, the space. You could use anything in between the double quotes. So literally when you're using double quotes, you're basically I'm telling Excel that this is a text. Okay. Happy Sunday. Could use literally anything. You can use the and symbol. Happy and Sunday. Could put spaces in between to differentiate, and on and on. You could do this horizontally and also vertically, like I would do now. So equal text join, and the first thing is the delimiter in quotes. Add the space, a comma, a space, and close. Oh, okay. Oops. Okay. And the comma, true or false. So ignore empty is true. I'm going to use a 1 this time instead of true to show you it works. And then the text range, I just use happy and happy. Oh, I could even use add Sunday to it. I could add today to it and close and enter. So it does happy, comma, happy, comma, happy. So irrespective of the number of texts that are in your data that you want to join together, it separates them with a comma. And that's how you use text join. Have we tried it out? Any challenges? Let me know, please. If you've got it right, you could also let me know. Oh yeah, I got it. You could drop a message in the chat box or just tell me. Any challenges? Raise a hand. Let's hear you. Are you trying it out? Give me 10 more seconds to try it out. Okay, I'll take silence as we got it. Okay, Namji, let me hear you, please.
Okay. I want to just repeat that process you carried out now to know if I'm correct or, or, or wrong. Test join, then
Okay.
um, then quotes.
Text join bracket, right?
Yes, test join bracket, then quotes.
Mhm.
Uh,
That's double
uh,
quotes. It's going to be
a
specific in
double
this
quote.
sense.
Would there be space before the comma or?
Yeah, so ideally, you don't need to put any space. The reason I put a space, um, it's just for presentation. If you don't put a space, it just clogs together, right? Yeah, but like in normal typing or writing, you put a comma and then a space before the next word. So I didn't put a space before the comma, but I put a space after the comma, still inside the double quotes. And yeah, I went on. Okay. Yeah, so whatever you put in the quotes is entirely up to you. The Excel is going to present it as you put it, right? But then just a quick one. You're using Office 2016. Is there text joined there?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't even know that. That's cool. Okay, thank you. So are we all good with that? We are coming back to the if, the almighty if. There's no text join here. Yeah, sorry. I guess there are different versions to this thing. So if there's no text join, just get the knowledge. I'm sure it will come in handy someday. Okay. So um, so we're going to look at if, count if, sum if. But before we, should I skip? I think we should like do the easy ones, the simple ones first. I want us to have a touch on everything. So I'll just skip and come back to them. Yeah, I should have organized. So there is a function to this date. This is like pretty easy. So yeah, to this date, sometimes you need to have a tab where you use today's date, right? Yeah. So it's a simple function. Today's date is equal to today, just equal to today. Bracket open and bracket close. That's all, and enter, and it gives you today's date. It's basically going to give you any date that is on your clock. That's on your, I mean, it's giving the date of your computer's time. So if your time is wrong on your computer, it's going to give you that time, your calendar and your clock. Okay, so that's today's date. Yeah, so we'll skip the count ifs. Trim. So the trim function removes spaces from your from your work from your data. Now Excel is very sensitive to every character, so it counts a space as a character, right? Um, um, so let me use this. So I'm going to put type data here, and I'm going to type data with a space after the data and click on enter. Now I want to check if these two values are the same. I'm going to put equal to this is equal to this and enter, and it says false. Yeah, so basically okay, in the course of learning you could learn that if you have a set of data and then you have have another set of data and you want to compare if they are the same thing, you can do a simple formula equal to it's equal to the cell you want to check is equal to this, enter. Oops, what did I do? Oh, I did a minus. This is equal to this. Oh, there's a space here. No. Yeah. So this is equal to this, and then this is equal to this, and it's a false. Why? Because there is a space the after the data, after the A. If I take it away, if I clear it away and I put an enter, it goes to true. But sometimes you're working with a lot of data sets and you want to, like, I mean, some stuff are not working. When we look at VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP, you know why it's important to, like, what the function does, right? So the trim function removes spaces, basically, from your data. So I'll just put this down here. So I'll take it off again. So I'll use equal to trim. Removes all spaces from text strings except for single spaces between words. Yeah, exactly. So trim this guy, bracket close, enter. And if I drag this down, it is a true. So the trim function basically removes spaces from a data as far as it's not a single space between two words, right? And it validates your data. Please, did we get this? I'd like to get feedback. Silence is, and I got it. Or silence is, I should take it again.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, we got it. Okay, great, 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 great. Okay, so I'm just going to take this off. And then, yeah. Oops, no, this should be here. So, these are some other set of simple functions, right? Left, right, left, right. So let's say Sunday, and I'll use this for this too. Now the left and right function is a function that takes a certain number of characters from the left of a data set, a selected data set, or from the right of selected data set, depending on, I mean, respectively. So for left, this is Sunday. I want to take, if I want to use the left function, so I type left, so left, then the first item you have there is the text. So I select the text here and the comma, and the next option is number of characters. So select number of characters. Is Excel case sensitive? It depends. It depends on what you mean. The functions are not case sensitive, but then yes, if it's not always case sensitive, like it really depends, right? There's some cases where it's not. There are cases where it is. So that's the way I can put it. Yeah. Okay. So left, so the number of characters. So from the left, so basically this is like saying pick so and so number of characters from this cell and return it from the left of this cell. So I would say 3. Number of characters, I would go for 3, and I'll close my bracket and pick son. Right? So that's the left function. For the right function, I'm going to you go to right and select the text, the cells you want to use, put a comma and number of characters from the right. I'll go for 3 and enter. So left picks son, that's left from the 3 characters from the left, and right 3 characters from the right picks day. Any questions? Are we good? Like I said, these are the easy stuff. Any challenges? No? Okay. Good, good,
No
good.
challenges.
All right. So, it's 3 part of the yes, 3 is part of the formula. 3 is the number of characters that you're selecting, right? So there is the text you want to take the right or the left from, and then what number of characters from the right or from the left you want to pick. That's what the others do. I mean, that's what the number character does. So let me look for another easy one. Yeah. Okay, so let's look at value. Now, sometimes you could copy um, a set of data from maybe an email or something, and it's in a text format. Let me do 30, for example, 30, 40, 50, or yeah. And I'll just convert this to text. Okay, so I'm going to put 30 here. 30, 30, 30. Doesn't matter really. Yeah. Now I'll just convert this to text format from here, just for the purpose of the learning. So your data type is very important. Your data format. You cannot add a text with a number, right? So, and then if you notice when I changed it from here to a text, it aligned to the left. If you remember when I mentioned conventionally text aligned to the left in Excel and numbers aligned to the right, but of course you can arrange it to whatsoever position you want to put it using the alignment options. Okay, let's try an addition. Let's say a sum. So equal the sum of this. Enter. Oh, it did not work. This is text. Okay, I'm not getting the effect I want right now, and this is sad. Yeah, let me see if I can force the text on it. Let's call that as text. Okay. Yeah, I think this is gonna work. I'm adding a space. So here we've summed this. We've summed these two columns, column G16 and H16, and all of them. And oops. And we know that 30 plus 30 is not 30. 30 plus 30 is 60. 40 plus this is and and all that. And 50 plus 30 is not 30, it's 80. Now, why this is so is because there is the number, I mean, we have the number, we have these values as text and this as numbers, so it's just counting the number, it's just summing up the numbers as opposed to the text. Now, one way how we remedy it to convert text, I mean, you know, these are obviously numbers. To convert text to numbers, there is a function called value. We use the value function, so it's basically going to be equal to value. You select where you want to convert, and if you notice, it aligns to the right now because it's now converted to a number. So if we do a sum of this now, equal to sum of this and this, it's going to, oh, I didn't close the brackets. Why didn't you? What's happening? Very strange. Okay, something strange about this. I'll just delete this. Okay, so when you convert to from text to value, it converts it to numbers, and yes, you are good to go. Okay. Is there any questions? I think a message came in. The mail sent. It starts by 8. Yeah. So sorry about that. Believe. I think there was some issue with the time zone. Some issue with the time zone, so that's affected. But then 7 p.m. was sent on the WhatsApp platform, just as a reminder. So Sundays we do 7 o'clock and Thursdays 8 p.m. Right? Yeah. Sorry about that. So a recap can be done from the recording. So that's for value. So value basically converts a text to a number, depending on where you're pulling it out from. Okay. So if there are no questions, we can go to the if now, the mostly shared if. Okay, the value function. Okay. And let's say we have a number in a wrong format, like a text format, right? Yeah. Um, we have a number in a text format. It's going to give an error if you're trying to sum it up. So the value function converts it to a number that you can easily do the calculation. So that's what value does, the value function does. I hope that's clear. So you see value equal to the number and all that. Okay, so let's look at unique. Now, if you have a data set, if you have a data set with like uniform values, multiple values, um, let me do this. Yeah, then we put Sunday, Monday again. So we have this. The unique function, the unique function filters and picks. So we have duplicates here, right? We have duplicates here, repetition of some of these values. Now the unique function filters and returns only one of each function. So so you just do equal to unique and highlight the range that you want to get the unique value for, close the bracket and enter. So you find out that you just have one Sunday, one Monday, one Tuesday, and one Wednesday. Yeah, as opposed to the duplicates you have here. Is that clear? Yeah, I'm sure that was a pretty simple one. Have you tried it out? Does it working for you? Any challenges? Again, again. Okay. So, by the way, I understand that some people may not have this function, this unique function in their Excel version, right? But just to try it out, okay, to do it again. So this unique function, if you have a cell or a column, whatever that has duplicate values, that has multiple of the same. Like here we have Sunday, we have Sunday, we have Monday, Monday, we have Sunday and Monday again. Yeah, the unique function is going to return just single of each item. So to do that equal to unique, and then you select the range you want to um, get the return for and close the brackets. At the hit of enter, you have the return of a single value of each of them. Okay, so I'm sure we're good. No questions. Okay, so let us revisit the if function, and then we do the count if, and then the sum if, and then the rest of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the filter here and focus on, wow, scary filter. Yes. Okay, I just forgot about the filter. I think this guy is messing up with the formatting. So we look at this. We have looked at this. Yes, so the if function, let's just deal with that. I don't know why I'm trying to stall from it. So if, like we know, if is, when I'm talking about if is a conditional something, like a conditional statement. Yeah. So in programming, you also have the if statements and all that. If, else. No. So now, when you see if, it means that there is a condition that comes with it. It's based on criteria, right? So if today is Sunday and there is no work, then I go to church. An example. Else, okay, let's dig into some examples. I literally want to clear everything here so that we can see. So for the if statement, we have that's for the map. We have the logical tests. We have the value if true, and then we have the value if false. So that's simple. This is for the if function. Okay, so now the logical test is what are your conditions, what your conditions are based on, right? Logical test, what your conditions are based on. The value if true is what should be returned if the value is true. And the value if false is what should be returned if the value is false. That's simple. So we used an example in the last class, something that had to do with finances, right? Good. So I'll just bring this back here. Okay. So in the last class, we said for a monthly, I mean, in budgeting, you have a target. So your monthly target on feeding is $2,000. Okay, I said I was going to use Naira today, so I just look for the Naira symbol. I'm just seeing like a lot of Naira symbols here. I don't know which tribes. I've never seen this before, and should I take the Yoruba one? I'm seeing a minus sign there. Oh, okay, this works. Perfect. So I'll just tap it for these other guys. I don't want this line. Okay, so let's say your monthly limit on 2K is so small for month, so I'll just change this to maybe weekly so that it's more real. So 2000 is your weekly feeding target, weekly limits on feeding, right? Oh, I have to use monthly, yeah, because this, see, yeah, because the months are in months here. So target is 20,000. In January, you spend 2,500 naira. In February, 3,000. March, 2,000. And April, 4,000. Now you have this data of your feeding expenses documented. And you want to know how you fared for each month. So I'll call this check, right? And I'll use the if functional. So what we want to do is if my feeding expense for January is greater than my monthly, greater than the monthly limit, then I'm going to put bad here. If it is less than, I'm going to put good. If it's less than or equal to, I'm going to put good. Right. Yeah, so that's what we're going to do. So the first thing is the logical test, then value if true, value if false. That's simple. So let's try it out. Check. So we start with our equal to and then if. So if bracket open, so the first thing is the logical test. So if the feeding expense, this column, is greater than, using the greater than symbol, is greater than the monthly limit, so now that's the logical test. That is the condition you're given, right? So if this is true, the comma, put bad because it means you overshot your monthly limit. Then if it is false, that means if it is not higher than the monthly limit, put good. I put that in quotes. Remember, text are in quotes. I close my bracket and I click on enter. So this does bad. This was bad. So for February, the same thing. If I could drag this down, it's going to give, oh yeah. If I drag this down, it's going to give some errors. It's well, I'm surprised. I'm not surprised it's working, but this is not allowing. There's something called absolute referencing where you lock cells, a particular cell, because as you drag it down, if I'll show you this, my reference point changes from the limit, the monthly limit changes here to blank, to this space. If I go now, it drags. So as you drag down in Excel, as you stretch down, it's it affects. It changes unless you lock the cell. I'm not ready to. I don't want to explain that to you right now because I don't want things to get all juggled up and you get confused. So I'll just take it one after the other, and as we repeat it, it's going to help us. So let's try it again for the month of February. Equal the if the feeding expense for February, you click on this cell, right, is greater than the monthly limit. I click on the monthly limit, comma, value if true, bad, inside double quotes because it's a text, value if false, good. and enter. So we see that 3000 is above 2000, so this is bad. But let's see 2000 here. Maybe we change this 4000 to a 15, and we'll try it out. So I go on with it again. If this is greater than this value, if true, bad, value if false, good. Yeah, I think I made a mistake somewhere. Where was my error? I didn't put a double quote after good. Yeah. So we see that the months where we were within our limits, March and April, we did well on the expenses because we spent within our monthly limits. But then for January and February, we did bad because we overshot the monthly limits. So if gives returns conditional, um, yeah. So I want to hear from you. Have you tried it out? I know a lot of people had issues with this. Is it working for you? Are you getting errors? Let me know.
It's working at my own end. It's fine here.
Okay, okay, that's good. So I could assume that for everybody.
It's working out my own here.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's good to know. Okay, so that's for if. Now we have the count if and the sum. Oh, it's working for everybody. This is awesome. Very, very important. And then this is the most basic of it. We're going to go complex, right? But it's good to know the basics first. So now we have count if. Let's take a look at count if. Now count if is simply count if certain parameters meet a set of criteria. The set criteria. So let's see if we extrapolate this to, let's say, I'll just duplicate this sake of the fact. Okay. Yikes. How are you? So, I mean, you could just fill up the data. Yeah, basically want to try stuff out. You could just drag down or fill up the data January to December and use your own data with these three columns, right? So what I want to do now, I want to count um, I want to count the number of months. So a tax will come. Okay, here we want to count the number of months where the expenses were bad and the number of months where the expenses were good. Okay, so that's a condition. If the check, colon, if expenses were bad, count how many months, and if they were good, count how many months. So we're going to try that out. We're going to use it for count if and sum if. Have we tried to replicate this data? So we did ourselves. Okay. So I'm going to start with count. So equal to count if. So for count if, you just have two options. You have two fields. You have the range, and then you have the criteria. The range and the criteria. That's for its count if. So for us, our range is this. Yeah. So from this, we have some bats from this from January to December. We have some bats and we have some goods. So we literally want to count how many bats we have and how many goods. So the range is this check for the number of bats, and then the criteria is bad and good. So we'll do bad first and then we do good second. So which? So we'll just say bad, bad count, and good count. So equal to count if the range. So the first option here is the range to get the range. Now you highlight the whole of the range. So we have for me K13 to K24, and I put a comma. That's for the range, and then the criteria is in my double quotes. I put bad. I close the double quotes. I close the bracket and enter, and it counts for me. It counts the number of times the bad appears, right? Same for the good. Equal to count if.
And that bad count.
Okay. Okay, perhaps take a look at the good counts and see if you can grasp. So count if, you put your bracket, then the range. First thing is the range. The range you want to count from, and this is where we're counting. First is the range. I highlight on the column, and I put a comma, right? And then I want to count number of goods. So I have to type it exactly as it is on that column. So I open the quotes, type good inside, close the quotes, the double quotes of course, and then close the bracket, and I hit my enter button.
I'm sorry, I have a question.
Please ask. Hello? Yes, go on, please.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my question is,
Your voice is quite low. I can hardly hear you.
Single quote.
Come again, please.
Now the quotes,
Okay, I can hear you now.
because
Yeah.
I can see you'll be using double quotes.
Yes.
Must it be double quote or a single quote?
So for text, it must be a double quote.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yes, and
Thank you.
it's not two single quotes, it's one double quote. I don't know if you understand that.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I understand that.
All right, yeah.
Use. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Sure. So, Alaba, I can hear me. That must be good. It says, please ask. You can unmute and ask your question. Hello. Okay, so I don't know. Your hands are up, Alaba. Okay, it's probably an error or a challenge. When you can speak or type, it's fine. Just drop it. Any other challenges? Or we got this, we all got this. If we all got this is awesome.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Oh, okay, yes, I can hear you. Talk to me.
Yeah, sorry, I was having issue on unmuting my call. Please, when I'm doing the count if, do I need
Okay.
to highlight do I when I'm typing the equal to count if brackets the K13 to K21, do I need to highlight it or while typing it to highlight itself to
Oh,
get the answer?
oh, you need to highlight it. That's you need to select the range you want to count, right?
Oh,
Yes, but I don't,
okay.
I don't know. So for you to use the K13, your range has to be in the same position with mine because mine is on colon K, right? That's why,
Yes,
that's why I'm able to do that. You get that, right? But but
yes, I
if
guess.
but if you know the range, if you know the range your own is in, you can actually enter it manually. Like for me here, that I have my range starting from K13,
K13,
cell K13, and ending in K24. I
K24.
I can I can literally type equal to count
Mm-hmm.
if the range. I can type K13 then with colon K24, right?
Yes.
Select that, comma, and my criteria is good, and that will still
Yes.
give me my sum. So that also
So,
works.
okay. Now I understand better. Thank you very
You're,
much.
you're welcome. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? We're good. Yes, we are good.
Yes, we are good.
Oh, the questions. Okay. Who is asking? Please, what's the challenge? Hello? Was it me that heard Miss Kelly? Okay. Oh, is that believe you're unmuted? Are you the one? Any challenge? This is having network issues. Any other person? No. Did you find him? Okay. Okay, so we'll just continue. Yeah. Okay, so we've looked at count if, right? So now we're going to look at sum if. Now, just like count if, so I just keep this here. Um, count if, just like count if, sum if is similar, but then this time around you are summing, right? And then of course, when you're summing stuff up, it means that they have to be values. They have to be numbers. You cannot add bad and bad. Um, to give you, Okay, so let's say we want to add some. So let's say we want to see the want to see the sum of that's the amount. We want to see the amount spent on the bad months, and then the total amount spent on the bad months, and the total amount spent on the good months, right? If so now for some if it's quite different. So it's going to be criteria. Let me take a look at how it's like some if. Now for some if you have three parameters. The first parameter is the oops, I think I have forgotten. Some if is the range, the criteria, and the criteria range. Okay, so range, criteria, and criteria range. That's for some if, right? Okay, so let's look at this. Now, when you're talking of okay, for some if, let's say we want to sum, like we said, we want to sum the total expenses on the bad months and then the total expenses on the good months. Now the range, oh, criteria range, sorry, this is not criteria range, this is sum range. Now the range is I think the range is actually the criteria range. So equal to, right, let me, let me see how it's put. Yeah, okay, sum if yeah. So this range is like the criteria range. So range, you want to sum this range. So the range is where you have the criteria, right? Now the criteria is either good or bad. And then the sum range is the range you want to sum together. Okay. So let me give a hint on that. So want to know the amount of bad sums, the feeding expense spent on the bad months. Okay, I think I should like use months here so it's more realistic. And then the good months. Yeah. So I want to see the amount spent. Now we'll go to equal to sum if. Sum if. So the first thing is the range. The range, like I said, the criteria range is what it is. So the first thing is sum if range, sum this range, comma. The second thing is the criteria, and our criteria is going to be bad for the first one. And then the third thing is the sum range. That is the range you want to sum. So it should be the exact range. So I want to sum the filling expense. I close the brackets and I click on enter. So on the bad months, 13,500 was spent. Now for the good months, it's the same thing. Do sum if the first thing is the sum range, this, and the criteria is good, and the sum range is what you want to sum, bracket close, and then you get your figures. Just gonna call this and put this in Naira. Okay, so we get this. I feel we get so the first option, the range for some is the range. The range is where you're going to pick your criteria from. That's where you see range, where you're going to pick your criteria from. The next thing is the criteria that you picked from that range. And then the third parameter is the sum range. That is the range you want to sum together, right? Okay. Do we all understand? Do we get this? Oh, okay. Thank you. So this is very clear. You see, we are so smart. We are all getting these things. I'm excited about that. Okay. So I'll just move on to the next. So we are done with, well, the basics of some if count ifs. Now we have these guys again, but then this time around, they are, there's an extra S, right? So we have, okay, so there is an if. Sorry, I didn't add that. You can add that. So there is an ifs, there is a count ifs, and then there is a sum ifs. Okay, now whenever you have the S as part of it, the count ifs, the sum ifs, um, you're talking of multiple criterias, right? So when count if, sum if without the S means implies single criterias. But when it comes to the S, the ifs and the count ifs and all the multiple criteria, that means more than one conditions to be considered. But before then, let's do a quick one, please. I want fast fingers on this, and I want you to use Excel. I want to know the total feeding expense for this year from January to December. So I'll just write them down. I'll just itemize. Oops. Total feeding expense for the year. What else do I want to know? I want to know the total. How do I put this now? Also the total amount. So my that seems to be malfunctioning. What's happening? Okay, please excuse me. I'll have to like close this and open it again. Okay, so total feeding expense. Then how do you put total? Okay, expected expense. Total expected. Should I put limit for the year? And then I want extra, I mean the deficit. Is it deficit or the extra, the excess? Yeah, excess on feeding expense. Please, yes, don't use your head to calculate it. So you're going to use Excel and all that. I mean, so can I have my answers? I hope you understand the question. Question number one, total feeding expense. Total. Question number two, expected limit for the year, right? And number three, excess on feeding. If excess on feeding, yeah. So there must be a value, positive or negative. So we have 1 minute, 30 seconds to answer. Already 30 seconds have gone. So you could either send in on the text box or unmute and answer. So we have 30 more seconds. No answers. That means nobody has a clue or my mic is not working. Has to be one of the two. Oh, okay. We have total feeding expense from Taiwo, 2850. Expected feeding of the year, 2400. Beautiful. So the excess. I'm not using data sets you used. Oh, you're not using data sets I used. Uh, okay. So maybe you tell us how you did it. If you're not using data sets. Okay, that's fine. So let's just do it together and then we fix that. We're already behind time. So total feeding expense for the year is simply going to be, I mean, we could simply do sum of bad months and good months, bracket close. So, okay, I think Taiwo Isaac is using my data set. Beautiful. So total limit, total expected limits for the year, or total, actually, yes, yeah, the expected spending for the year is basically going to be number of months, right, times the monthly limit. That's 24,000. Perfect. So the excess on feeding is going to be equal to this minus okay, rule 19. So minus 3,150. So in the end, you find out that this person spends below the yearly targets, the yearly budget. Person spent below because there were some months that the person really spent like 450. In July, in June you have 850. That's really low. You have 450. You have October and November. Yeah, they were probably giving free food in the office, so the person had a lot of savings. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for your inputs. And all that. I hope we got it. This was basic sum and
Sorry, I have
okay.
a question, please.
Please ask.
All right. For the total expected limit for the year, was that given? Maybe I didn't get that data set. Was that a given value?
Okay. Yeah. So we worked with this. We work with a limit of a monthly limit of 2,000 naira.
Okay. I didn't get that
Yeah.
value.
So
Thank you.
okay. So how did you now solve the if you didn't get it? How, how did you solve the check?
To
Let's
check,
try.
I had another data set I was using here to check.
Oh, okay. Oh, cool. All right. So this is insight. So in the end, this is insight from the data from this person spending expenses for the whole year. We've seen that the person saved 3,150 naira in the long run, which is even above 1 month. So saving for 1 month plus. So this is business intelligence, right? Okay. So let's look into these ifs. I feel like looking at the time, we would look into these ifs. I think we'll also look into functions l- last time next week. So I'll keep these ifs for next week. I want us to look at some very interesting functions before we go. The VLOOKUP and the XLOOKUP functions. Yeah. Okay, please ask a question, Alaba. Your hand is up.
Hello, I'm so sorry if I'm bringing you back,
It's very
but
fine.
my challenge is I didn't get the calculation of the total feeding expense and also the total expected limit for the year. So that's where I had the challenge. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So thank you for that question. Now, the total feeding expense for the year is basically the sum of the feeding expense for all the months. So this is January to December. This is the feeding expense. So let's say we do a sum. As a matter of fact, I don't know. I think yeah, on the first day, taking you around, I showed you the auto sum at the top right corner of your Excel sheet in the home tab. Home tab. So if you want to sum an item, you could highlight where you want to sum and click on auto sum. Under it, you get the sum, the total. Right. But yeah, so that works. For yeah, for the purpose of this, say you're not calculating, like we had our field here. So what I did was equal to sum, using the sum function, sum of, actually use this too, where we can come here and sum of all the expenses for the month. Here, that function again. Okay, so it gives me that sum. I hope you got this sum here.
Yes, I do. Yes.
Okay, beautiful.
That's is sorry, is equal to some open bracket J13 double the dot now double to J24.
Exactly. That's it.
Then I press enter. Sorry, I missed the first day. That's why. Thank you.
Okay, okay. That's clear. Yeah, that's fine.
Please can I get the total expected limit for the year too? So I'll be
Okay.
okay.
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you.
So yeah. So for we had put a monthly limit at 2,000 naira, right?
Yeah.
So um total expected limit, forget the nomenclature. I would have just said total budget for feeding or something. Yeah. A total expected limit for the year is like the sum of the monthly limits. So literally what we did was a month's limit times 12. So what I did was 12 times J10, which is
Okay.
the
12.
2000. So
Okay.
12 times 2000 basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then of course you want to click on the cell because if the feeding changes, you don't flip
J10.
it manually.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Oh, you got that right?
Thank you.
Okay,
Yes,
I'm
thank
sure
you
you
very
understand
much.
the excess on feeding. So the excess on feeding is basically the difference between these two.
You, you said it's R18 minus R19.
Yeah. I mean, it can even be R19 minus R18. Whichever way. So there was an excess of 3,150. That's why it's in bold. Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Okay, I think we're going to continue with this sheet like after today, but let's take a look at, yeah, because we didn't even touch on this. Yeah, let's take a look at the lookup functions, right? So let's use, so there are different worksheets. There is a worksheet sales 2016, and then there is a there is a another worksheet called account managers, right? So um, let's go to the account managers worksheet. Okay. So we're going to be looking at VLOOKUP and XLOOKUP. Um, so Victor, I just joined. I had it. So please, I'm lost here. Kindly recap if possible. Okay, so because of time, we may not be able to recap. Two things can happen. Um, there's a recording going on. You can revisit it, right? And then if afterwards you need some one-on-one support, you could just reach out to me or anyone. Everybody here understands, so you could just grab a number and yeah, they all said they understand. But there is also Kenny who you can reach out to. She'll be very happy to help. But yeah, so from the recordings, I think you can go through that and then check it out. Okay. I would include HLOOKUP too, but in reality, we hardly ever get to use HLOOKUP, the HLOOKUP function. I mean, I have literally never used the HLOOKUP function because there's been no need for it. So I'll just I just stuck on them and then focus on the ones you can use. Now, lookup functions. The lookup functions are literally functions used to look up values, look up values from one data set that relates to um, look up values. Okay, let me read it, 'cause- and then I'll try to explain. Okay, so the VLOOKUP looks for a value in the leftmost part of a column of a table and then returns a value in the same row from a column you specify. By default, the table must be sorted in an ascending order. Actually, I don't know what that means, but I'll try to explain that to you all. So, when you're talking of looking up, you want to look up values um, from different data sets. They could be in different workbooks, they could be in different worksheets, and you want to return a corresponding value. Okay, here's a look. On the sheet that has the account managers, we have different names of account managers. And then if we go to sales data, I hope there is no duplicates here. There shouldn't be. Quickly check. There isn't. Okay, great. Um, if we go to the sales 2016 data set, you will see multiple columns. A column for account manager, you see a column for first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, and fourth quarter, right? So we have this account manager's names here. We now want to look up the different um, quarters of the year, their sales for the different quarters of the year, right? The year 2016, as in this context. So, as usual, I'll just highlight. So before we do that, so we have HLOOKUP. HLOOKUP is horizontal lookup. So basically, HLOOKUP looks up values in horizontal format, like from left to right, let's say rows, while HLOOKUP looks up values from, I mean, in vertical order from in columns, really, which is mostly the way we organize our data in columns. That's why I would say I've never really used the HLOOKUP. Yeah, but then we could touch on it, but just take it off for now. VLOOKUP is vertical lookup. Of course, we know vertical is from up to down, horizontal is from left to right. Now, XLOOKUP is like the the big deal. XLOOKUP made stuff really easy, and I personally, when the XLOOKUP function came into existence, it came in much later. I hardly ever used VLOOKUP unless I didn't have a choice. But let's get deep in. So now, in the sales 2016, that we would want to get the first quarter, in fact, all these quarters, we want to get the first quarter reports, sales, into these sheets with the account managers. So I'm going to call this quarter one down. So I would put an equal to sign. I mean, of course, to start, you start with an equal to sign, equal to VLOOKUP. Okay, I have to zoom in for you to see. Oops, that's my zoom. Okay, it's more like it. So equal to VLOOKUP, right? Now, for the lookup, oh, I think I need to write this down. So you have, oh, I need to explain this. The lookup value, the table array, the column index, range lookup. Sorry, let me just type this so that it would all grabs sharp sharp. Oops. Lookup value, table array, column index. Sorry, I don't have this in my head. So lookup value, what's the next? table array, column index, and then what was the last one? Return something something. Let me get the English. Column index, table array, lookup value table, and range lookup. Range lookup. Why do they call it range lookup? Okay. Okay. So the lookup value is what you are looking up. So I want to look up for Tina Carlton in the table array. In this table array, this is an arrangement of a table. This table array, right? And then the column index is the column that I want returned here, that I want to see here. And then the range lookup is either an exact match or an approximate match. There is something, we'll look at it right now. So let's try it out. So equal to VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP, I hope we are doing this. VLOOKUP, the lookup value is Tina Carlton. So I click on the cell where we have Tina Carlton, comma. The next thing is a table array. Now the table array is where we want to look up this value from. So I go to the sales 2016 array, and then I highlight everything. Okay. Let me start this again. Let me zoom this in also so that we can see. Yeah. So here are the VLOOKUP, Carlton, that's the lookup value, comma. I go to cell 2016, the lookup array. I literally just want to get the first quarter, right? So I highlight the range, look up the range, and that's the table array. You could literally highlight everything actually, in case you're looking for some other cells, but then comma. The next option is the column index. Now the column index is the column that you want returned, the column that has the values you want returned. And how you count the column, this is column. The first column is, you start counting from your first column. So column 1, column 2, column 3. So we want first quarter. So our first quarter is in column 2. So I'm going to put 2. All right. And then comma. The next thing is the range lookup. True, approximate match, false, exact match. We want the exact match. We don't want approximate match. So we put false. And we can also put 0. Remember I said true is 1, false is 0, but then false. Select false, and it brings the value for this person. So if we check sales for first quarter, this is it. Let me zoom further in. $5,187, and that's what we have looked up here. All right. And to drag this down, there is a box. There is at the corner of the box of your cell. When you're at the corner of your cell, you come there and either double tap or you just drag it down, and it brings everything for everybody down here to the dollar sign. Or so if we check for, let's check for Samantha Chairs. For the first quarter, Samantha Chairs is $24,000. That's it here. And all for Charlie Bew is $0. Nicholas Fernandez $0 for the first quarter. That's what we have returned here. Now, some things you must know. If you're looking using VLOOKUP, if you're looking up a particular value. You know how we have the lookup value, we have the table array. Your table array must start with the colon where you have the lookup value located. What do I mean? So we looked up accounting and these guys. Our table array must start from this colon. So say if we had, let me replace this. If we had this colon in, we had it somewhere here. Let's copy it. So shift to the right. Yeah. Oops, no. Okay. So let's say we had a table like this and we wanted to look it up from here. We would have to do, we call the VLOOKUP. The first thing is the lookup value, comma, we go to the cells 2016 and we wouldn't start from here to our table. We start from where we want. Let's just say this guy was not here. We have to start from where we have to start from the colon that our lookup value is located to highlight. Right. Then we do a next thing is the colon index. So from where our lookup value starts, we count 1, 2. So what we're looking for second quarter now. We have a 2. Oh my god, we out to a shot. And then we want the exact match, so we go for false. And we get these values. Okay, I just did that to explain. Okay, so let me hear from you. I'm sure there's definitely going to be a lot of questions. You've tried it out, it's not working. Or is it working for you? That would be awesome. Let me hear from you. Any challenges?
Please kindly revisit it from the beginning. I lost some part. I had a call. So I've been trying it and it's not working here.
Okay. Okay. So, Tosin, let me hear you, please. Go on. Taiwo doesn't understand VLOOKUP. Okay. Tosin, your hand is up. Do you want to say something? So, if it's similar.
Okay. No. My question is, now
Okay.
we're looking from the first column. Now let's assume that the first column is not there in the other sheet. Let's go back to, if you go back to the
In
other
this sheet.
sheet,
Yeah.
yeah, just like you pasted it in between
In
quarter one
the,
and quarter two.
okay, like this.
Now,
Okay. So
if
let's
you are
assume
not,
this is not
yes,
here. Let me
and
hide this.
it's not there, and we want to look it up from, we want to look up for quarter one, how do we do that? And you said we can't go back.
So for VLOOKUP, whatever you're looking up must be to the right of your of the column that has your lookup values. So anything when it comes to VLOOKUP, anything to the left of this, you cannot sort it. It will return an error. So it must be
Okay.
right of the lookup value. But then for XLOOKUP solves this problem, which we're going to get into, right? But conventionally, VLOOKUP came before XLOOKUP, so we must learn VLOOKUP before we learn XLOOKUP. Okay. So, Ebo, Esther, you have a question? I'm going to recap this, everybody. Yeah, I just wanted to.
Okay, just to recap, basically.
Okay. Just to recap. Okay, so I'll just clear this again. Sorry, we have overshot time, and after this recap, we'll have to, yeah, adjourn. So, VLOOKUP. Equal to VLOOKUP, of course, you'd enter your function, VLOOKUP function. Now, like I said, just a recap. We want to see on this sheet. We have data in another sheet that contains the different sales for different quarters of the year. Now we have these other sheets that we want to return the values into, right? So we want the value for the first quarter. So quarter, so what would the equal to v lookup, basically vertical lookup, that's what v lookup means, right? The first thing is the lookup value. This is the lookup value. We want to see what this account manager sold, the amount is sold in the first quarter of this 2016. So the VLOOKUP value is the first. We click on the cell of what we want to look up, comma, and then we go to our cells, the tab with our cells, 2016 cells, and we want to look him up in this range, right? So we select the range. Oh, I'm sorry. So we have to select the whole table. We don't have to select the whole table, but then for the purpose of clarity, we select the whole table that has all the information we need, right? The second option was the table array. We've done that. I put a comma. Then the next thing is the colon index number. Now, what is that asking for? The colon where you have the values you want returned, the values you want to show, the values you want to see. And we're looking for first quarter, right? That's in colon B. I believe this is the number, colon index number. So the first column here is column A, second column is column B, right? Column A is the manager's name, column B is the second. That's column 2, basically. Second column. So we just enter the column number. That's 2. Right? So if we're looking for third quarter, the column number is going to be 1, 2, 3. 3. If we're looking for fourth quarter, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to be the number of columns on that table array you selected. Fourth quarter, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So for us, we're looking for first quarter, which is the second column. So we put 2 here, and then we put a comma. Now the next option is true match, true approximate match or false exact match. We want the exact match. Approximate match is when you have a range of values and then you want to get stuff, but then we're working with exact match. So false or 0, and then we hit the enter button. Okay, Esther Ibwa of Femi, yeah, let me hear you.
Mine, that after the column index number 2, the other
Yeah.
option I is bringing on my own PC is range lookup.
Yeah, it's range lookup, but then so it's range lookup, but it should give you. So basically, range lookup is the true or false. So you could use 0. 0 is false. So we want the exact
0
match. Yeah. So either 0 or
as
false, whatever works. Any of them works.
digit or letter.
Sir,
0 as in digit or letter.
is there a 0 letter? Okay. To type, you mean to type 0? No. Sorry, digit.
Yes.
Forgive me. Yeah.
Okay.
Femi, don't mind me. Okay. So you hit enter, and
Okay.
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, thanks.
Okay. So I think we'll stop we'll stop here for today. When you finish, you drag it. So basically, if I drag this down, it goes for the next, it aligns with the names of the different people and all that. So we'll kick off from here on Thursday. Yes, the VLOOKUP is complex, but then don't worry. That's from Mary. When you get a hold of it, it's going to be some of the sweetest things. So you could go back, recap, look into it, and yeah, practice, practice, practice. I'll just take one question, if any, before we go. Maybe general questions. And please, just as a refresher, so for the reminders from Google Meet on the meeting, we have um, I know we've had the whole juggle up with the time zones. That's why we're getting different time differentials. But on a stamp, Thursdays are 8 p.m., while Sundays are 7 p.m. to us, right? Okay. So if no questions, we'll call it a night. Yeah, I know it's getting tough. Just take a break. Later on, the video will be out tomorrow morning, hopefully, or tonight, whichever. Um, you could revisit it, try this out. You got to practice to get a hold of it. It's all new to a lot of people, so practice is what's going to give you a strong grip on it. Okay, so thank you everybody, and have a good night rest. And I was going to give you an assignment to do the first and second quarter, and the second quarter and the third. In fact, to do all the quarters, right? So if you can do that, if you could practice that and do it, that would be nice. Just do it and send it. Maybe reply the email. Yeah, that email. That'd be nice. Okay. Have a good night rest, everybody, and have a beautiful week ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, good night.
Night.
Night, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank
Good
you.
night. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a wonderful night, sir.